Oh, what's good, homie? How's everybody doing out there? Me and my man Steve Assault in the horror man cave at his house. How's it, Steve? How are you doing?
I'm good. The sun is shining.
Yeah, it's like 50 degrees out here.
Yeah, it's like we've been in like the sub-zero Arctic zone here in Northeast Ohio, so the weather is broken a little bit. So there's some sun shining in. That's why the lighting is kind of different.
Yeah, it's like
And,
20 degrees to 50 degrees within
yeah.
literally one day. I'm not complaining. I think it's great.
No, it's awesome.
But always strange weather here. Could be anything any day of the week.
This is going to become a weather podcast from now on. We're becoming
Old
amateur meteorologists.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Here's a good thing. Last week we there's all these. Now we'll talk about Texas, what happened there, but we had a bunch of snowstorms that really didn't happen. So there was two different points last week where where the forecast was like we're going to get 10 inches of snow on Tuesday. Then they're like again you're going to get 10 inches of snow or a foot on Friday, and we didn't get like any.
We got like maybe an inch.
Well, we got like an inch of ice. But we didn't get
No.
maybe 3 inches total of snow. But the best shit ever was there was people talking shit on local meteorologists, and the one meteorologist went on this crazy rant where he's
I
like,
didn't hear this, really.
"Oh my god!" The guy was like, "Listen, people, you have to understand, blah 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 blah," and he was just like talking shit on the people, but it got taken down by the network.
The thing that's funny, at first I didn't hear that, but it makes sense. Second, like even that with the blizzard stuff, we'll keep the weather shit quick today. But it literally was like I'm at work and they're like, here comes a blizzard. So I leave work, kind of shitty, not that bad. I get home, snow's already done. I live 40 minutes from my job. So I was like, okay. I think I hit Steve up. I'm like, isn't there supposed to be like 10 inches of snow? And then that was it. There was ice. Okay, that sucked. But they literally was supposed to be like 3 days of a blizzard. It snowed half an inch and there was ice. Now, no offense, but I don't know how these dudes meteorologists do the weather. Do they just look back in time like 5 years ago it was like this, so they guess that's what's going to happen?
I wish that
They
I
have
had
no
that job.
fucking clue.
I wish that if I was a meteorologist, I would just be on like, "Hey people, it's January 2nd in Ohio. It's going to be 75 degrees today. Get your fucking sunscreen
They
out."
have no idea.
I mean, people would be like, "Oh wow, man, I'm just gonna plan to go to the fucking beach today."
It's just like, so when there was COVID last year, my tattoo shop was shut down. So I get a bill for the electric and it's $350. So I was like, we call them, we're like, how did we get a bill for $350 when the place was shut for a month? They're like, oh, we just guessed because last year it was a little bit less, so we thought maybe it'd be more this year. So I think it's like the thing. They're like, well, there was snow last year, so maybe there'll be 12 inches this year.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
The estimated bill. I love getting estimated bills.
Estimated weather and estimated bills equals total shit.
It's great. It's
Yeah,
great stuff.
the shop's closed for a month, $350 fucking bill. Okay.
Hell yeah, that's what you should do at your business. You should just be like estimate for tattoos.
$6,000.
When you give a quote, like, well, listen, this tattoo is going to be like $800.
Yes.
Like that's an estimated bill.
But
like,
you
what
gotta
the
pay
fuck do
that.
you mean that's estimated? Would people pay that? Would people do that?
Shoot, I don't know. I
No,
have
they
no
wouldn't.
clue.
They'd be like, "Fuck you! I'm leaving this fucking dump."
Well, they
Go
pay,
fuck
they might
yourself.
pay it once, and then that's the shop would close next week. So.
Yes, it would. But utility companies and things like this,
Yeah.
they do this shit. Just like the people in Texas that are getting the bills that are like $7,000.
Dude, there was a guy on the news. So the Texas thing, of course, people, you already know about this. So we're not going to go into depth about the shit that you already know. But yeah, so that was 7. I saw a guy with 17,000.
Yeah.
I think he owned maybe an old person care home. He said his bill was usually $350. It was 17,000. They took it straight out of his bank. So he didn't even. He just woke up and was like, "What the fuck? 17 grand."
It's sweet, man. You know what it's sweet for? The people that run those companies. It's very sweet.
Oh,
they
fucking.
It's just dudes that are billionaires already. They just fuck everybody in
Yeah.
that state, and then they're like, "Man, you people just got to pay us now. You got to pay us." Because I mean, that's what people wanted, though, right? People wanted things to be less regulated. And
Well, Texas fucked up because Texas is classic. They thought that they were their own country.
yeah,
Then, of course, they're fucked in their ass, and all of a sudden, they're not their own country. They need some help, which the people who live there deserve the help.
yeah, I agree.
The people in charge deserve to be probably, executed in a public square.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my friends from Texas, and that's what he told me. He says, like, yeah, people down here want to hang these people in their front yards.
Oh yeah, man. There's people who got their fucking hands cut off last week from frostbite in supposedly the greatest country in the world. I mean, come on.
See, man, that's the real problem with this country. The real problem with this country is, over the past decade or so, is, people are angry, people are upset, so people had been going to places like schools and churches and shooting like old people and little kids and shit. When you're angry and you're upset, you should go to the cause. You should go and you should maybe shoot up some people that are responsible for the things that are happening. I'm sure that the FBI is going to be dispatched to my house now after this.
He said it, not me.
But
I think you should go there and hug it out with the people. Give them a big old bear hug.
Seriously, though, man. To me, it never made sense where people would do those sorts of things, where they'd shoot up a school or a church or just like a mall. Those sorts of things that never made any sense to me. I thought they were the biggest waste of energy and time.
Well, it's like the insurrection stuff. Most people agree that some of that stuff made sense. Like, of course, if you think the government fucked you over, you're going to go do something about it physically, okay? But, of course, that was just based on a big-ass lie, so then it didn't make so much sense. But if it was true about the election thing, it makes sense. Yesterday in the news, they were talking about there was that one congressman saying that basically all the people who were there were not really Trump supporters. They were, provocateurs or whatever they call it. they were all fake.
It was Antifa.
Yeah, he's like, it was, he goes, these people had Blue Lives Matter flags. So, I mean, those people aren't going to break the law. And I'm like, okay. Okay.
That's good.
But it's just like that guy. It's like, he doesn't need executed. He just needs, maybe his teeth knocked out. Maybe he just jumped in a parking lot.
That would be good.
I mean, just because you're just the guy, for this reason. Because he's just lying. So he's just lying. Everyone knows he's lying, but he doesn't care. He wants to keep, doing what he does. So
yeah, how about
maybe
that?
Just needs an old, ass beating.
Yeah,
Remember
about that?
Biden was going to fight Trump? I think Biden would win.
I don't know. They're both pretty old.
I think Trump has probably never fought anyone in his life.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know that he's ever had to physically fight anybody.
No, he's a big guy, though.
He would maybe he would sit on him, and Trump would be able to win.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Biden could take him. But Biden literally looks like he's 4,000 years old.
He does.
He looks rough.
Yeah, Biden seems. You know what he looks like? He looks like in like a horror movie where there's like a vampire, and at the end of the movie, you see what the vampire is really like.
I agree,
and like that's him because the vampire can like take different forms and shit like that. So, when you see the final form, I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. He kind of looks like a living corpse.
Did you ever see Last Crusade, where they took the wrong cup?
Yeah.
He drinks the shit. That's just Biden, but just every day.
Dude,
he drank the wrong goblet.
Dude, I was watching a video of Crown of Thorns, and Lord Ezek says, he introduces the drummer. He goes, hey, this is our drummer. He goes, you might have saw him in Indiana Jones movie where they drank from the wrong cup. You remember that guy? Or the movie Powder.
Does he look that bad? Which drummer was it?
It was Riggs Ross.
Oh.
But dude, those are great jokes.
That's a great joke. Riggs Ross, I think, probably just looked like a dude with a shaved head back then. But
here's why those are great jokes. It's because this is hardcore, probably like 5 years ago, and all these young people do not know what Powder is. That movie.
No, that's obscure to this
I love
day.
that. I love that joke. It's a great joke, Lord Ezek.
From that era of, if you're that age, it's a great joke. That's funny. And like I said, The Last Crusade, that's a good joke too if you know the ending.
Also, here's the other thing. The guy that made the movie Powder was like a child molester.
Which guy was it?
I forget his name, but the guy was for real like a fucking sick child molester weirdo. So you might not want to watch that movie.
I mean, here's the thing. Let's be real. Anything made in the 80s or before was probably some weird child molester shit going on. I was watching the Runaways movie yesterday, which I've seen a bunch of times. If you don't know the Runaways, it's Joan Jett and Lita Ford. That was the band before. They're like 15 or 16, and they take like sexy ass photo shoots, and they're on the road just doing drugs and hooking up with people, and they're like little kids. And back then, that was normal. They'd write songs about just having sex and being jailbait, and that was like big time rock and roll. Now that would never happen, but back then it was just normal to be like fantasize about young chicks.
It's like that song, man. She's only 17. Remember that song?
And that was in the 80s. These dudes were 70s.
She's only 17. Hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He says that.
But here's the thing. That was just normal back then. So you got to think. It's like, here's the thing. One of my favorite shows, Married with Children. This show's a child molester show. The main chick that everyone loved was Kelly Bundy, who was a teenager. Even as a kid, I was like, I say this to people all the time, and they're like, wait, what are you talking about? And I was like, no, it's still one of my favorite shows. I go, I grew up watching it, me and Steve. But you think she's like supposed to be 15. Even if you watch the first few seasons, when she comes out, she's legit 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, the crowd loses
their mind. Like the dude's like, yeah, hell yeah. She's like a kid.
I never thought about that. That's
because he's a pervert. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, now, but like I said, I remember I was a little younger. We're the same age. We were younger than Kelly Bundy, so I was like, as a kid, I was like, man, it's weird that these guys are like grown men yelling at this like.
Yeah, for us
teen.
young at that age, that seemed like the type of girl that you could have you'd have a poster of her on your wall.
Because you're
bedroom, because you're a kid, but like if you're a grown man,
no,
and you
the
had a
sex
poster
symbol
of her,
in that show,
you're just a piece of shit.
Was Kelly Bundy, and she was a teenager. Like I said, that shit changed. You watch 80s movies, like I said, you watch The Runaways. They're like kids singing about having sex with dudes and shit. They're like 15. Like this isn't like a 19-year-old. And they're like, yeah, it's what dudes want. They want these like sexy kids. It's like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is right?
I'm glad I'll say this. I always thought that shit was strange
It's very strange.
as a kid. Then you're an older person. You're like, what the fuck? Shit's disgusting.
She's only 17.
Yeah, even the Winger song for real.
You
Even
know,
that, you're like,
you know what I mean.
yeah, and you're like, what the?
I
I don't. She's a kid. And you're a fucking child molester.
Me and this guy at work, we talk about this song, and we were like, what do you think the discussion was in the studio, like with the producer and the record company? Where they're like, listen, Kip Winger, you can't do this shit. He's like, listen, man, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Or did it,
Dude, it
people
was
just,
a #1 hit.
or did they just were like, yeah, this is sweet? Like, at
Dude,
some
it was
point,
a hit.
did anybody tell him, like, dude, you shouldn't do this?
Dude, the thing is, though, like I said, it was #1 in the States. I'm pretty sure it was like their best
That's
song.
a big song, man.
It's because people love that shit, especially back then. They love like young, like I said, 80s. What's Married with Children? Late 80s. They loved that shit till probably late 90s. I don't know. Very fucking weird. I'm glad that has changed.
Well, there's this thing. I don't know if you've ever
Glad
heard.
it's not cool to fantasize about teen chicks.
I don't know if you've ever
if you're
seen.
a grown man.
There's this thing called Depop where people sell vintage clothes and used clothes.
I don't know much about it, but Steve,
Oh
you
my
definitely
God.
do.
So Depop, I'm not the only person that notices. I see people talk about this all the time. So I'll look on Depop for things, and I sell stuff on Depop. And but you'll just see like chicks that are just like wearing see-through stuff, or just like they're just model lingerie and stuff. And sometimes you'll be like, oh my God, is this like an underage chick? You're like, what the? Because there's no rules on it.
Dude, yeah.
So to me, I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? Like, it's just wild shit, man. It is unbelievable. Like, to me, I can't believe that site,
especially in 2021.
I swear to God, I can't believe that they will do that sort of shit. There's stuff I'm like, oh man, like what? How old is
You're
this
like,
person?
what is this?
It's just like, ugh.
QAnon, save the children. Is it save our children? Save your children? Save the children.
Yes. Now, speaking of QAnon, I have a new goal in life.
QAnon.
I have a new goal in life. I want to be the person who makes up the QAnon conspiracies, because I mean, it just seems like the people will believe anything.
Well, the QAnon too, if you even know the story, supposedly it's just these two dudes who run the one channel anyways, because they just need to keep people driving the stuff, so they just kind of made it up. No one really knows who the original guy was. You could easily, the problem with QAnon, I was talking to Steve about this yesterday, you could make up your own stuff. You just got to get the right people to buy into it. But if a bunch of people got killed, you're probably going to prison for life.
I mean, has anybody gone to prison though? These dudes had an insurrection on the fucking government.
But here's the thing. The two guys who run it, like I said, they act like they don't know who it is, but the two guys who they think it is are just super millionaire guys who run like a fucking, online platform. So who knows? But I would, I think it's good. I think me and him could come up with way better shit. Their shit is dumb.
It's very dumb. Dude, do you remember
Satanic
the one?
cabal and shit? What the fuck?
Dude, there was the one where they said that JFK Jr. was coming back. Did you see that one?
I
It was a
did.
while ago. And they were like, they said like the date he was coming back, and then posted stuff like, welcome back, JFK Jr., but it just didn't happen. I mean, do these people just forget about this stuff?
It's just like old school, like Christian doomsday prophecies. Like, okay, doomsday is coming this Christmas. It didn't happen. Oh shit, my calendar was off. It's coming next Christmas. You know what I mean? And people are like, oh shit.
I have remember the Mayan calendar thing, the 2012
Dude,
apocalypse?
some fucking idiot just
Remember
told me
that?
that the other day.
I
They're
love
like, here's
that.
the thing. The Mayan calendar actually says 2020, the end of 2020. So now it's 2021.
The History Channel, they had all those shows about it. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
But what happened to those shows? Do they still show them?
I still watch them.
Do they still have? Can you watch
I
them?
will. Yeah,
They still
if
have
you-
them?
Dude, I still watch YouTube shows of literally stuff like that where they talk about, like, what was the guy's name? Ayatollah Khomeini.
Yeah.
How he was the Antichrist and shit. I'll
Yeah,
still
yeah.
watch those on YouTube.
Those shows were awesome. You know why
Yeah.
those shows were so great? Because they were so... Dude, they had a guy...
Serious.
Yeah, they were serious. And there was like the guy that did the voice. He sounded very, very like evil.
No, it sounds like you're gonna die. You're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
They'd have all these-
1996, the world ends.
They like have all these graphics with like Nostradamus
Yeah.
prophecies with like fire behind them and shit. Those were I loved watching those. Those were my favorite things at the time to watch.
I still watch that shit all the time.
They're
at work.
great, man. Fucking awesome.
I don't know why I do, but I do.
I mean,
I still watch In Search of Bigfoot specials from 1978.
those are great.
Here's the thing: those make you believe in Bigfoot way more than the
They
modern
do.
ones.
Dude, the shows from back in that time, through the 90s even, those shows really sold you that the shit was real. Like, you believed when you watched a show about Loch Ness Monster that fucking thing was real and you were going to see it when you were
100%.
fishing at the lake. Like,
Yeah, it scared the shit out of you.
you believed that if you looked out your window at night, a Bigfoot might be standing outside of your window.
Which would be fucking scary.
It would be terrifying. But, dude, those shows made me believe. Shows today, I believe less when I watch
They
them.
make them. actually unrealistic now.
Yeah,
Back then, it made it realistic. Is that weird? I don't know.
they did. Like when you watch Ghost Hunters, that shit is bullshit. That shit sucks.
Ghost Adventures is my favorite because they find ghosts every week.
Do they really find ghosts?
No, but I mean, they have to do something. Ghost Hunters, they never found shit in fucking 15 seasons.
Yeah, you would think they would find something.
Ghost
But
Adventures, every week there's a ghost that possesses you, or some guy falls down the stairs because like a ghost pushed him or something.
this just goes back to the thing, the QAnon stuff, where people just, I don't know, you just get disappointed and let down by all this shit. Like they never find a ghost, they never prove anything, but everyone just like watches it.
I mean, did you
Everyone
ever
pays
see that?
attention to
What was it? Finding Bigfoot, but they never found him.
Yeah, they never found Bigfoot.
They didn't find shit. Found the most annoying ass people to give a TV show to. That's it.
I might have found Bigfoot at my work. There's these two giant dudes that work at my work, and one of them might be Bigfoot.
Shaved Bigfoot.
It's just these dudes that are like 7 foot tall, and they're just, I don't know how they even find shoes to wear.
Dude, I don't know, man.
It's just enormous men. I don't know how these people did not have the one guy. It's like a huge guy. It's like a giant. It's like a giant black guy. And I go, dude. I go, do you ever consider being a professional wrestler? I'm like, for
Yeah.
real, man. Like, you are just have the dude is so huge. He's just a monster of a man. And I'm like, dude, no one ever talked to you about this seriously.
Any
Like,
type of giant person, you can just get through life being a giant. If you're semi-coordinated. A girl I work with, her brother is 6'9". I've never met him, but they said he's just a jack dude who's 6'9". I'm like, he could just do whatever he wants in life because he's a giant.
yeah, if
He
you're
could have easily played sports and like went to college for free, just being like a half-ass athlete. If you're that big,
if you're enormous, you always have some sort of. There's always some opportunity available to
100%.
open to you in the world of sports, possibly extreme sports or something. Like, I mean,
it's not high school sports. If you're just big, you just can get a scholarship to a lower college. You know,
we're not big dudes. I'm like 6 foot tall.
I'm
Rob's a little
5'9",
bit shorter than me.
235 pounds. At
I
the
mean,
moment.
our dreams of being professional, high level athletes pretty much stopped at our height, where we stopped growing.
I'd like to be. I wish I was 5'11". That would have been nice.
Yeah,
But I'll be honest, I can't fit in things. People ask about height all the time because I think the average height is like 5'8" or 5'9", so I'm average height. If I'm on a plane, I barely can fit in the fucking seat. And I'm like, I'm an average height guy and I'm over 200 pounds. I could not imagine being 6'9".
Now, how would you go on a plane?
I'll
It'd
be honest, even
impossible.
like 6 foot tall would have been cool, I guess, but I barely fit now. So I'm like, maybe I'm cool with average height because I can't fit in anything. Even cars, I'll get in my car, I'm like, man, I am like, do not fit in here.
Do you know what I would like?
6'9"?
Yes,
Like, what
that's what I want to be. The ideal height for me would be 6'9".
I mean, maybe.
It's a very sexy.
It
height.
is a sexy
It's
height.
very erotic.
It's very sexy.
Very erotic height to be.
But I mean, I couldn't even fit. I'd be like this tall, sit on the couch. It'd be too weird. 5'11", that's it. If I could grow, 5'11" would be cool.
Another inch.
Yeah. 2 inch. I'm 5'9".
That's
2
right.
inches.
That's the thing that people always said about Rob. Back in the day when the internet wasn't so advanced, there was always these bands that would come through and people from other regions, and they'd want to meet Samoanrob, the legend guy. And they'd be like, where's Samoanrob? I want to meet him. I go, he's right over there. And there's numerous people they'd look at me, they go, man, I thought he'd be taller.
Yeah, everyone thinks I would be like this giant guy.
Yeah, they thought you were going to be like The Rock or something
No.
like that. They thought you were going to be like 6'5".
No.
It's like
I would
this
be so
towering
sad.
man.
No.
But yeah, numerous people would always they'd be like, I thought he'd be taller.
I'm an average height guy. Now, I'm still well over 200 pounds. But, so I'm not a small guy. But I'm definitely not that tall.
People probably thought that I would be a lot bigger too. I was like a skinny, scrawny guy. I'm probably pretty disappointing to meet.
Assault.
Yeah, that was a disappointing guy to meet.
The thing is that I always would say this back in the old crew days that were real violent. Me and my friends that were my size, 200 pounds, 5'9", 5'10", we were always the guys who had to fight. Then there'd always be these giant dudes who were with, and they never fought. And it's not that there weren't fights. They would just like stand in the back and let us fight. And I'm like, what a waste of size and strength. Like, why couldn't I? Now, for fighting, it'd be nice to be bigger. But I've been in a million fights, and I'd be with dudes who are like 6'5". They just stand there. They're like, oh, man, you really fucked that dude up. I'm like, hey, thanks for the help, buddy. I really needed that pat on the back after I was fighting a dude on the ground in a bar.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just grabbed them and picked them up and thrown them.
They just don't have that fire of a shorter guy. You're just
No.
fucking, it's the...
Short man complex.
I don't even have a short man because I'm an average height.
Yeah,
so I
you
don't
are.
know.
You're not that short.
So someone said that to me once, like, oh, you have a short. I'm like, I never feel very short. I feel like just kind of average height-wise. But, oh, wait, speaking of bar fights, did you see that fight of the two College football dudes getting trashed in the bathroom.
You know, I saw a thing about it, but I didn't watch it. I didn't see
it's
it.
great.
I'll watch it.
Here's why. It's these two rich cocksucker football dudes. Now, they could be decent dudes, but they look exactly like what you would think of if you said
just like jock dudes.
jock cocksucker, but like
Yeah.
old school ones. Like
from Revenge of the Nerds.
yeah, like from they play for Harvard or something. It's some dude who plays for Oklahoma State. But anyways, it's just these tall blonde dudes who are in good shape, and then there's these two shorter dudes, white dudes, but they're all white dudes. They're in a bathroom. And the first, I don't know if me and Steve have been in plenty of shitty bathrooms. This is like a fancier bar, okay looking bar, and it's still, you can just tell there's piss all over the floor. You can just see in the video, it's just a wet ass floor. So anyways, the one guy who's shorter, his face looks like he has a cut on it. And these two dudes are like, yeah, get out of here, buddy. Get the fuck out of here. And it's 2-2. So then the guy pushes the one guy. And then these short dudes just had enough. And the dude starts wailing on him. And then he basically grips him and body slams him on the ground. Then the other dude grabs the other guy, puts him in a fucking wrestling hold, throws his ass on the ground. They just beat the fuck out of him. And you realize how being just a big athlete dude doesn't necessarily help if you're versus guys that train to fight.
Yeah, you never know. The thing is, you never know who you're fucking with.
But that's my short man. That was my joke I was making to someone. I go, someone was asking about that fight. So the two dudes are tall. I mean, they look like some fucking athletes, you know? And the other guys are shorter, stockier wrestler dudes. And the wrestler dudes crush them. Here's why, for you people who've never been in a bathroom fight. If you're a shorter guy, you do not have the reach on your opponent who's a lot taller. So like a guy like my size, I have to close the distance. I've been in many fights in bathrooms, so I know how this works. I can't let the taller guy start fucking beating on me. I have to come in. I have to step in and either strike or tackle. These dudes strike first, then literally body slam the fucking dudes like nothing. And as soon as the shorter guy gets under the taller guy he doesn't know how to sprawl. He can't get him off. So they body slam and then just basically beat the shit out of him on a piss-soaked floor. The nastiest thing to me is I'm not laying on a piss-soaked floor. I'm sorry. Even if I'm angry, I'm not laying in fucking piss on the floor. Maybe that's because I don't drink. We don't drink, you know. So, Steve, would you lay on a piss-soaked floor to fight a guy?
Oh, no.
Maybe if he, like, slapped my son or some shit.
No.
Other than that, man, I ain't... If he slapped Steve, I'd still fight him, but I wouldn't lay in piss on the floor. Sorry.
Well, hopefully these football guys learned a lesson.
The one guy almost lost his eye. He got beat so bad.
And maybe they won't
But that's the
be
trick.
dickheads.
If you're going to fight and you're the shorter guy, you need to close the distance. If you're the taller guy, for the most part, well, this dude, the football guy, couldn't throw a punch for shit. He should usually keep range because not let the shorter guy in. And I guess the shorter dudes were like MMA wrestler dudes, have been wrestling their whole life. So that's a classic thing with the gym, too. It's like I go to the gym again. Dudes lift weights. They think they're tough. It's like, if you train to fight, you'll be good at fighting. If you train just lifting weights, you'll be good at lifting weights. It's not the same thing. You got to do one or the other. Does that make sense to you people out there? I'm sure there's a bunch of weak-ass people who watch this video and be like, fuck yeah, dude. I'll watch some fucking backyard fighting. I'm ready.
They're
like, nah,
ready.
you're weak as fuck. Don't worry.
Well, maybe they'll find out one day.
You'll find out when you get your ass plastered in the fucking bathroom. Don't lay on the floor. That's disgusting, man. Laying in piss.
It's gross.
Dude, tell the story about the time you had to sit and piss.
Oh, there was numerous times that I just have to sit and piss at work all the time. I'll go in the bathroom and someone just pissed all over the fucking seat, man. It's like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, these are fucking animals. Don't know how to fucking, what is the matter with you? No, but the time that I sat in all the piss, we were on the road. I think we were going to Baltimore to play with
that was
Stout
it.
or something like that in
That was
Baltimore.
it literally was with Stout in like the early 2000s.
And I had to shit so bad, man. This was the worst. This was one of the worst ever.
Here's exactly what I remember. Okay, so Steve's driving
Yeah, I was driving the van.
in a van. I'm sitting shotgun.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm talking, and he, we dudes do bullshit our whole lives. He's not talking back. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And he's not talking. Then I look over, and I'm like, oh, man, he's in trouble.
I was
Those
in
were those,
big
like,
trouble.
white
I was sweating. It was one of those ones I'm driving. I'm like,
Yeah, and I was like, oh, shit. And he's
This
like,
is
dude,
driving.
I'm sick, man. I'm sick. I'm like, dude, we're almost there. Then we're in a line trying to get
Well,
to pay
listen.
to get in the thing, and it was fucking long as shit.
I had to go for like 45 minutes, and I was like, I could make it to Breezewood.
That was it, Breezewood.
So we were trying to make it to Breezewood. I'm like, oh, but you know when you get to the exit? But here's the thing. When you got to go, the closer you get, the worse it gets. Because you have this thing in your mind like, I made it. I'm almost there.
Yeah.
But this is worse. Your stomach starts hurting worse.
Oh, yeah.
You just feel like you're going to die. So like I'm just driving, but we get to the toll booths there at Breezewood because it's on the turnpike, and there is a fucking line, man, of like 30 fucking cars.
It was to this day I remember sitting
I was
in the
like,
van with
oh
all those cars.
no! I was like, I'm gonna shit my pants, and I was in a van with all these dudes. This is gonna be very embarrassing. So I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
bro.
fuck, man. So I'm just like, I'm just dying, man. And we get to the fucking to Breezewood, and it's busy. It was really busy that day. It was a weekend. It was a Saturday or something. A lot of travelers. It was in the summertime.
Yeah, it was tons.
So I remember I run to the bathroom. There is no available stall. So I'm just pacing back and forth in the bathroom, just like I'm straight. I'm inches away from shitting my pants, and some guy comes out of the stall, and he just pissed all over the seat, man. It was just drenched in piss, and I just did not have the time. It was one of those ones where, like, as you're pulling your pants down, you were shitting. I just didn't have the time. I just had to sit in all the piss and explode in that bathroom full of people that just had to listen to it. It was great. It was a good time.
World War III in the bathroom, man.
It was awesome. It was good times.
Plumbing was destroyed.
That was when my stomach was bad all the time. My stomach's a lot better now.
Maybe you just don't eat as bad.
I ate a very, very poor diet. I ate
yeah.
I ate bad diet back then. Fucked myself up.
Dude, I mean, those traffic ones, man. I just remember the traffic was so shitty.
Oh,
and then you're like, oh,
It was
fuck.
bad, man. You know how it is. You get closer, you're turning on your street, and it just is like this is it. This is the end. And your mind sends like this message to your bowels that it's time. Dude,
You know
I
what?
got to that exit, and that's what happened. And then the traffic hit. I was like, oh fuck.
You nailed it on that. It's the closer you get, then your mind is like, oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
Dude, even pissing. Like sometimes I'm a guy who doesn't drink enough water, so then I only chug water. So I'll chug a huge bottle of water, then like I'll be driving, like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking piss my pants because I fucking chug like half a gallon. I'm like, I have to get out of my car literally on the freeway and piss. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking piss myself.
It happens. These things happen. Do you have any good stories out there of
Oh, I'm sure there's
shitting
people have
yourself
tons.
or
Tons.
pissing your pants? We want to hear about them. Maybe you could come on the show and you could tell them. No, actually, I didn't soil myself in this story.
No, he didn't.
so
Yeah, he didn't shit himself.
I did not.
Thank God.
Because
I
my
mean, in the
bowels,
van.
my bowels are strong. They could hold it in. They're very, very powerful bowels.
He actually brought something up good though. This is what I was telling. There's some guys I work with that are like skinny guys. So this is a problem if you're a super skinny guy or just skinny, more metabolism guy. A lot of those people eat terrible or they just treat their bodies like shit. But because they're skinnier, they think they're in good shape. And I'm like, you're not in good shape. So it's a couple guys I work with. The one guy especially, he looks like he's in great shape. You know, he's like a built dude. It's just genetics. He literally has the worst diet ever. He misses work every fucking week because his stomach is so fucked up. And he drinks, just eats fast food, and he's like, no, I'm in good shape. I go, bro, you couldn't run down the street. I go, it's just metabolism. I go, you're skinnier. Yeah. I go, you couldn't lift a weight. Your stomach is legit destroyed from what you eat.
Yeah.
Guy like me, my metabolism actually isn't that bad. I just eat 4 times what a normal human eats. But it's like, if I eat too much and I'm like, yo, my pants or my fucking gut is going to hang over my pants, I need to stop. It's an easy indicator of I need to watch what I'm eating. But for him, he can eat anything and never gains a pound, and he's like, yeah, I'm in good shape. It's like, no, your stomach is still being destroyed. You know, you're still going to have a heart attack. You just look thinner. You know what I mean? So get your shit together, man. You can't miss a fucking day of work every week because you're on the toilet. Jesus Christ.
So, Rob, what else you got? We got time for one more topic.
Steve's, it's his house, his choice.
Well, we've been talking the last couple days about people who go on the internet and post about how great their life is, especially dudes that were like notorious piece of shit or scumbag guys.
We won't bring up any names, but yes, that shit annoys the fuck out of me.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Basically, here's the thing. I was telling Steve, it's not that it's bad if you post your life's great. First of all, people will post every day that your life's great. Obviously, I don't believe your life's great. It's the same thing if people will post every day about like their wife or husband, how they're the greatest person. I've known tons of people who've done that. Every single one of them got a divorce or wasn't with the person because they're trying to convince everyone. It's like, you need to convince yourself this because the rest of the world could care less. My whole thing was a lot of people, especially some hardcore personality types or even like famous people, they'll talk how they were the shittiest person ever their whole life, and then they lucked out and had a great life. For some reason, that just annoys me. Is that just me? Because that's great if your life's good, but it's like you were a shitty person, learned nothing, and then you lucked out and had a great life, and you're going to post about that? I just feel like you should be just beaten, drugged behind a car with a chain or something, you know? Just doesn't, I don't know. It annoys me. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that we know that in their past were not the best people.
I was one of them.
Yeah, I agree, and me too sometimes. And I don't know. There's some people that they kind of. A lot of people don't really know about a lot of things that, especially in punk and hardcore world, a lot of people don't really know the extent of ill shit that some people do.
Yeah, they're just scumbags.
Yeah, they don't really know. A lot of stuff gets in hardcore, especially a lot of stuff gets brushed under the rug and whitewashed and things like that. And people really don't really know the truths about some of the people that you think are good guys, backed hard. You don't really know the truth about these people.
Oh, it's just some fucking dude who sucks.
Yeah, these are the type of guys that we're talking about. They're like, yeah, my life is so great and blah blah blah. And I mean, these are people that were just straight scumbags. Their buddies
They
were
never changed. They're
piece of
scumbags.
shit gang members that did all kinds of ill shit to people. But I don't know. But we were those types of guys too. We did plenty of shitty things.
Yeah.
And
Different, like I always say, though, we changed. I'm not the same guy I was.
I agree, and I agree that people
That's the difference.
that some people could change. And the thing is, I'm willing to admit that the things that I did were wrong, and I'm willing to.
I mean, it just depends what we. I mean, guys like us weren't doing anything that crazy.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Some of these other people were way worse than us. Did a
Yeah.
lot of way shittier things than we ever did. But hey, listen, I'm just dry snitching right now, which is one of my favorite internet terms that people always use.
Oh, dude,
It's like the most fake pussy ass, fake gangster shit that people try. This guy's dry snitching. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it's not like we're talking about anything that the feds are going to come and arrest someone for tomorrow. Like, get fucking serious.
That's
here,
people
man.
have said that before. It's like if people don't get in trouble, who gives a fuck? There's not
Gives a
dry
shit,
snitching on what?
man.
I'll say whatever the fuck I want.
I agree.
When they talk
Fuck
about
you.
snitching, it's like that's when police or some kind of shit's involved.
Yeah, man.
Well, even these people who live this fake street shit. It's like, cool. You don't really live that. You're a fucking pussy. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you talk about dry snitching. Fuck off.
Dude.
Fuck you.
Here's the thing. With me personally, you can come get it any day. I'll knock you the fuck out. These dork-ass motherfuckers, we used to post shit, and they'd be like, oh, this guy's dry snitching. It's like, bro, you don't live that life. I will fuck you up. And here's the big difference. You will call the cops 100%.
Yeah.
I've told people before, they would say wacky shit. I'm like, any day you want to meet me, I will knock you the fuck out. And then your pussy ass will call the cops 100% because you were a bitch. Your family's a bunch of bitches, and every friend you have is a bitch, too.
Yeah, people always get caught up with snitching shit. They always talk about
It's like, you ever fucking been arrested,
snitching.
motherfucker? You ever did shit in your life? You're sitting on the internet. Shut the fuck up.
yes. Shut the fuck up.
And like I said, even me, I'm not interested in that shit. But anytime people pull these wacky cards, it's like, well, then come do something, man. You're such a bad motherfucker. Living street shit. Come do
Yeah.
something. And here's what.
Sometimes-
They don't do shit ever.
Sometimes you get called out on your shit, man. If you did some bullshit and you get called out on it and you're going to fucking tell people they're wrong for fucking outing you, fuck you.
Oh, my God. The
Fucking
dry
do take
snitching.
responsibility for the shit that you did, man. That's the whole thing about snitching. See, snitching is the whole thing about snitching is people that won't take responsibility for what they do, so they rat on someone else
course.
to get out of something. That's the
Yeah.
whole fucking thing. That's what it is. That's what makes you a rat, and that's what makes you a snitch. Is that you get out of some shit, or you greatly
You don't-
benefit
you
from it.
do the crime, do the time kind of shit.
Like Tim Allen. Do you know how many people Tim Allen fucking ratted out? It was like 24 people that the guy ratted. That guy is a definition of a snitch.
I don't know how he wasn't murdered by the. It was like a cartel. I thought. Some
I don't
big-time
know.
Drug shit.
Maybe he paid some people off. I can't understand it. Maybe he's got dudes on the payroll that he's got to pay for life or some shit
There was
like
a
that.
guy who just got out of prison like this year from that shit. That was in the early 80s.
But that is what a snitch is. That's what a rat is. A snitch isn't somebody that fucking goes on the internet and talks about how you did some ill shit fucking 20 years ago.
No, you call someone a fucking piece of shit and say they're lame for this and that, and they're like, "Oh, you're dry snitch." It's like, are the cops gonna arrest them today?
No.
It's like, and I'm being totally serious. Almost every person who says weird snitch stuff, 99% of them never lived anything like that. And then second, when I've called out dudes and straight said, "You got a problem?" They're like, "No, I don't got a problem." Or I tell them, "Shut the fuck up," or when I see you, I'm gonna smash you. They go, "Oh, please don't do that." Same dude who's like, "Oh, you're snitching." Like, bro, I thought you were living some wild ass life. Oh no, you're a bitch. Shut the fuck up.
I don't know how many times at my job and at my work I've had to explain this to people about what a snitch is. Here's a great story. Here's a wonderful story about a guy that I had to tell that he was a fucking snitch. There's this dude at my work who's a fucking moron, and I hate him.
I love him.
This dude's a piece of shit. He's a younger guy, but still, man.
I don't know.
So
who he
there was
is.
a guy at my work who was stealing shit, and he was selling it on eBay. And this dude told him. And this fucking guy went straight to management and told on the guy. The kid got fired. Now, here's the thing, man. I straight up, the kid told me. Nobody in the company knew that this happened, by the way. And this kid slipped up and he told me about it. He's like, yeah, I told on this guy and he got fired. And I go, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? And now this dude is a guy who like records and is like a producer and makes beats for local rappers.
Yeah, he's a bitch.
So this dude fucking acting like he's living some street shit is a straight fucking rat bitch. This dude straight told on some guy that nobody knew the guy was doing it. But here's what I asked him.
Tattletale.
Here's what I asked him. I go, now listen, dude. I go, did you do that because you thought it would benefit you? He goes, yes. I go, see, man, you're the fucking definition of a snitch. That's you. You fucking, you didn't even have to tell on this guy. You were
you're
not
just
under,
a lowlife.
You were under no pressure to tell on this dude. And you did because you thought that it was going to get you in good at work and you're going to get promoted. And I asked him, I go, did it work out how you wanted to? He looked at it and goes, he's like, no. I was like, dude, I go, you're a fucking snitch. You're a bitch. I won't talk to that guy. And there's people at my work who
can't.
There's people at my work who are like, oh, he's like, yeah, Steve doesn't like me. He won't talk to me. I mean, I won't tell people really why. If someone asks me, I'll tell them. But here's the thing, man. I go, I cannot fucking talk or deal with a dude that is like that. That is such a low snake in the grass piece of fucking shit, snitch
Dude,
bitch.
you cannot hang out with some lowlife who's going to tattletale on every fucking person around him.
I mean, the dude he was selling expensive stuff. He could have gone to jail if they pressed charges. I mean, all because this dude thought like he was going to fucking get $1 fucking raise or some shit. You're a fucking piece of shit, man. If I was that dude that did that, I might come to your house and fucking shoot you over that.
That shit's ridiculous. Yeah, you can't be around grown men like that. That's just trash.
No, that is the definition of a snitch.
That's little kid shit, man.
Snitch.
A grown man ain't gonna tattletale on people. Now, don't get me wrong. The guy at your work, say he was gonna get busted for some shit he didn't do, and he's like, "Hey, it wasn't me. It was that guy." That at least makes sense. Because you know what I mean? Is that guy doesn't have to take the fall for some fucking dude at his job, especially if you're not living some wild life. That's really what it goes back to. If you're not living some crazy life and say he was accused of something, he's like, hey, dude, that wasn't me. You know, you got to look at this other guy. But just to go out of your way to tattletale, especially when you're pretending like you're living some wild life.
Yeah, the dude, I wish I knew people that he was involved with because I would for real message them and warn them that he's such a rat fuck. Yeah. So you better be careful, you know, if you're hanging around a dude like that because he'll straight rat you out for no fucking reason. You just can't trust
a rat. You can never trust a rat.
No, man.
There's no fucking way.
But again, that's just young dude mentality, I feel like. I feel like a lot of these younger dudes don't understand. They just are fucking, they just want to be fucking rapper guys and shit. They don't really understand realities of street shit or anything like that.
And even street motherfuckers go to jail and they're like, oh, they rat on people because they're like, oh, I don't want to sit in jail for 10 years.
No, they don't.
Because shit changes. There's not many people that are really going to hold it down. And really, if you just stay out of shit, you don't have to worry about it. So I'd rather just stay out of stuff.
Yeah, just don't get into bullshit. If someone tells you some shit, like, unless you are for real in danger from it, it's none of your fucking business.
No.
Just fucking leave it be. Who gives a fuck?
Even for me, I don't go looking for people. There's been people who have said shit about me on the internet. I hit them up, and then they don't want to do nothing. Because I'm like, if you really got a problem, you can come see me. Of course they never do because they're punks. But I'm not going to go looking for them because it's like, yeah, I'm not getting in trouble for this joke-ass dude. If he comes and, you know, wants to step up, that's on him. I'm not calling the cops, man. Call the corner, man. Motherfucker's getting wrecked. But anyways.
Speaking of work, I got to go there in a few minutes.
Steve's got to go to work. So thank you, people. We'll be back this week. Maybe Sunday we'll do one. Thank you very much. Goodbye.